I figured that as profits grew, I could rebuild the place around me. I wasn't even too concerned about the potential lack of customers. It's always a problem in January. It wasn't unexpected. I put together a simple menu with a few clever touches. It was a cafe menu. I had no liquor license yet. Things had to be made from low-cost ingredients so I could make a decent profit margin, as I couldn't get away with high prices and there was no buffer of profit from alcoholic drinks. Not being too busy suited me for the moment. I felt that I would rather take a low footfall and turnover on the chin and work through the bad times of January and February, growing organically, than start out when things traditionally went well. Battling adversity, well, I was kind of used to that. And it was undeniably pleasant to wake up in the flat above the restaurant and savour the silence. For the last 2 years, I had been living in noisy central London kitchens, 18-hour days, working with kids who were 20 years my junior. My one-bedroomed flat in Kentish Town had been equally noisy. I was getting too old for clubbing, too old for the wafts of weed that kept seeping up from the flat below and the street outside, and London nightlife had long since lost its appeal. Gone were the days of finishing work at 11 and then going clubbing until 4. Making the move to the Chilterns was not a hard decision to make. I also didn't mind the fact that I had hardly any personal effects in the flat that came with the restaurant, not now that Mrs. Cope's stuff had gone. It wasn't just the furniture that she had removed. She had taken not only the lampshades, but the light bulbs too. That seemed a bit excessive, but, I reflected, Mrs. Cope was a thoroughly vindictive woman. Still, I was enjoying the space, just as well since I had so much of it. Uncluttered by things I couldn't afford, I pretended I was enjoying the minimalist life. Who needs tables and chairs and a sideboard? Who needs a bed and a chest of drawers? In a symbolic act, I'd junked all my old furniture, a gesture of severing links with the past. Who needs a wardrobe, I had thought. I wasn't looking to go to Narnia. I was regretting it now, that was for sure. That's what you get for being impetuous. I led the police into the restaurant area, gave them a table, asked them what they wanted to drink, 2 cappuccinos for the PCs and a double espresso for the man I assumed was their boss, and busied myself behind the counter. At least the old Gadget coffee machine still worked. The 2 uniforms were festooned like paramilitary Christmas trees with the tools of their trade: batons, tasers, radios, other bits and bobs of equipment. They clashed horribly with the chintzy furniture of the restaurant, which I couldn't yet afford to replace. I brought them their coffees. They looked me over in a markedly hostile way. Perhaps they missed Mrs. Cope. Perhaps it was because I wasn't from round here. Or maybe they just didn't like my face. The winter rain beat down unceasingly. Through the glass, I could see the green itself, or the common, as it was sometimes called, the children's play area, the fitness arts studio, 20 or so houses, and the village pond. There was also a pub, the 3 Bells, a rough kind of place with a pool table. It was one of 2 pubs in the village. Houses of various shapes and sizes fronted onto the green. The road bent around to the left, out of sight, leading to the King's Head, the other village pub. The 2 pubs were indicative of the social divide of the place: BMWs and Mercedes at the King's Head, pickup trucks and vans at the 3 Bells. In short, a typical Chilterns village, and carrying on the good old country traditions of surly hostility to incomers. "What brings you gentlemen to Hampton Green?" I asked. The uniforms glanced expectantly at the DI, their spokesman. He had a tough, good-humoured face, somewhat battered and quite tanned. He also had a powerful physique under his suit, running somewhat to middle-aged fat, and a very obvious "don't mess with me" attitude. He looked hard as nails. He stood up and pointed out of the window. "You see that house? The one with the blue door?" I could, and I did. I nodded. "That's my place." It was said more in the tone of a warning than anything else. That's my house. This is my turf. This is my patch. Like a dog cocking its leg, the DI was marking his territory. He looked at me in an intimidating way to underline the message. Satisfied, he carried on. "I'm DI Michaels."